Claire Hanna.
Thank you very much, Madam Deputy Speaker, and certainly the SDLP welcome this move in the right direction, but like others have some disappointment that it has taken a need for speedy legislation in order to put right the principle of a woman being able to take maternity leave. This should have been addressed earlier. The gap has been apparent for a while, and it should have been addressed more comprehensively and systematically, and it shouldn't hinge on the situation or the pregnancy or the career of any individual to be so intrusively and widely discussed. And the swift action to correct it when it affects a member of the governing party's top team does feel like a contrast with the response to the rights and needs of other pregnant women and mothers in wider society. The fact that this legislation is just in time, to borrow a topical phrase, is an illustration of the archaic nature of some aspects of this institution and some of the reforms that are needed to ensure political and government structures are fit for purpose and do have equality at their core. It would be glossing over a very wide range of complex structural and cultural issues to imply that fixes like this magically open up a political opportunity to many more women and parents. But if correctly done, this bill could address one of the chill factors for those who either have or who are planning families, and it would be a small but visible example of Parliament actively enshrining fairness. Whatever a woman's job, taking a reasonable amount of time off to have a baby shouldn't be a perk. It shouldn't be something to have to be negotiated, and it should be a right. As others have mentioned, MPs are not employees but office holders, and as a result are excluded from some standard maternity rights. And many self-employed women faced similar penalties in relation to maternity-linked lost earnings in terms of the self-employed income support earlier this year and last year. And it just highlights the fact that we need to stop thinking about childbirth and motherhood as some sort of random occurrence or some sort of curiosity, but rather as a reality, and a happy reality for a very large part of the working population. It's worth saying too that devolved institutions and councils, including the Assembly where I previously served, are not doing very much better in this regard, and I hope that the discussion that we have today catalyses change there too. The debate has been genuinely very informative, particularly the member for Leeds West's very engaging potted history of trailblazers in this regard. And I also want to commend other members, including the member for Basingstoke, and I hope the government apply rigour and adopt her proposals for non-discrimination for new mums, and indeed the member for Walthamstow, who has been relentless in campaigning for the rights of other parliamentarians as well. The terms and conditions that are offered in this bill contrast unfavourably with other public servants, and it does highlight the paucity of offering for example, NHS doctors who are only entitled to 8 weeks full pay, teachers, certainly here in Northern Ireland, who are only entitled to 4 weeks full pay. And of course, that is much, much worse for people in other sectors, and tragically so for people in the gig economy. And that's the sort of levelling up agenda that we need the government to actively pursue. So we can see that the government has moved fast because it wants to, and we need to deploy the same speed and the same core purpose to raising standards for all working parents, and of course broadening this out to adoption and to paternity leave as well, and to make this place not a place apart but a modern workforce reflecting the whole population. Thank you.